Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in less than 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. Today, we're talking about Kavanaugh confirmed, a big report on climate change, and Columbus Day. Plus an art prank, Taylor Swift talks politics, and a record-breaking box office. Those stories and many more in less than 10 minutes. I'm Erica Mandy. Today is Monday, October 8th. You ready? Let's do this. Brett Kavanaugh just got a promotion, and he could start hearing Supreme Court cases as soon as tomorrow. Yes, it's a done deal now. The Senate voted to give Kavanaugh the lifetime appointment as a justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. And as the Wall Street Journal reports, Kavanaugh on the bench means it's even more likely the court tends to agree with conservatives, at least on some of those big controversial issues. He's replacing retired Justice Anthony Kennedy. But for Kavanaugh, it was a close call. The Senate voted 50-48 on Saturday to confirm him. Only one Democrat and one Republican voted differently from everyone else in their parties. The New York Times says that's the closest it's been since 1881. Justice Kavanaugh is apparently already in his new chambers getting ready for this week's cases. His supporters are celebrating. They say his years of experience will serve him well, and they're hoping he can put the accusations of sexual misconduct behind him, which, remember, Kavanaugh says are not true. Some Republican senators say they stood up to the mob trying to stop him. But Kavanaugh's critics call his confirmation a tragedy, that it hurts America's confidence in the highest court and sends the wrong message to sexual assault survivors and women. Some Democratic senators are saying they'll keep investigating. Either way, it's all eyes on the midterm elections right around the corner in 1 month and how this ordeal may affect those votes. A possible hurricane is headed for Florida this week. Right now, it's Tropical Storm Michael, but the Weather Channel says it's getting stronger. And Florida's governor already declared a state of emergency to have extra resources on hand just in case. AccuWeather reports Michael is expected to become a Category 2 hurricane before it hits the Florida Panhandle or near there midweek. So we'll keep you posted. Today, there's a big new report from the world's top climate change group. It says things aren't looking good and something needs to be done about it quickly. The United Nations panel on climate change is calling on countries to make, quote, unprecedented changes to cut carbon emissions, as in cutting back on burning fossil fuels like coal, natural gas, and oil. And the scientists say start now because major cuts are needed within the next decade. Oh, and we should be at zero emissions by 2050. If not, this report says we're at a much higher risk for things like drought, floods, and extreme heat. World leaders asked for this report. Nearly 100 scientists had a hand in it. The 2018 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to two people. Both took brave steps to fight against sexual violence as a weapon of war. The Nobel Peace Prize went to Nadia Murad and Denis Mukwege. Mukwege is a surgeon who has treated thousands of women in the Congo. Murad was kidnapped in Iraq by ISIS, but she was able to escape and has since become an activist. She's just 25, by the way, the second youngest person to be awarded a Nobel Prize. More people can now get the vaccine for the human papillomavirus, aka HPV. Time Health reports all adults up to age 45 now have the option to get the Gardasil 9 vaccine. It was first approved back in 2006, but only for ages 9 to 26. Now the FDA says it's good to go for ages 27 to 45 as well. HPV affects more than 40% of U.S. adults and causes most cases of cervical cancer. Federal health officials say the vaccine has the potential to prevent more than 90% of certain cancers. All right, some other things to know today. It's Columbus Day today, but for the first time, Columbus, Ohio will not be observing the federal holiday. It's a controversial holiday. Some states and cities and government offices do observe it and are closed today, but some states and cities don't observe Columbus Day, or they've changed the name and purpose of it to Indigenous Peoples Day. Why? Columbus Day is meant to honor the Italian explorer Christopher Columbus, who arrived in America in 1492. Critics say, not so fast, that Native Americans were there first, and celebrating Columbus honors mass genocide. On the flip side, USA Today reports Italian-American organizations feel this is really just a time to celebrate their ethnic heritage. Either way, the city of Columbus is at least trying to stay out of the national debate. The city claims it can only afford to give employees the day off on either Columbus Day or Veterans Day in November, so officials chose Veterans Day. But a heads up, the U.S. Post Office is closed today, so don't expect to get your mail. The The popular sparkling water brand LaCroix is dealing with an unwanted lawsuit, all about whether it's really natural or not. Business Insider says it's about the so-called natural essences listed in the ingredients. The new class action lawsuit claims it includes a synthetic compound that's also been used in an insecticide. But the company behind LaCroix is pushing back, saying, not true, it's all 100% natural, and by the way, we'll be suing as well for hurting our reputation. A piece of art sold for $1.4 million and then immediately self-destructed. Really. And get this, it might even be worth more money now. The anonymous street artist Banksy pulled off this prank at an auction house in London. The art was sold, and then suddenly an alarm sounded, and the canvas slid out the bottom of the frame and turned into just shredded strips. Banksy posted a video online showing he had installed a paper shredder inside the frame just in case it was ever put up for auction. The Washington Post called it, quote, the most memorable art world prank in years. Taylor Swift is getting a lot of attention for something she's never done before. Talk publicly about politics. Many celebrities get political, but this pop star had pretty much stayed away from it until now. She posted on Instagram revealing the 2 candidates in Tennessee she plans to support in November and why. And she encouraged all of her millions of followers to educate themselves about their local candidates and vote for those that align most with their own values. Well, it was the best October weekend of all time at the box office over the weekend, at least in North America. And it was thanks to 2 very different movies. A superhero movie, Venom, starring Tom Hardy and Michelle Williams, and the remake of A Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. Venom took the top spot, bringing in more than $80 million in ticket sales, and Variety reports it set an international record for an October opening as well. Both movies were pretty much instant hits. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for listening. Please be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button if you haven't already to make sure you get all the new episodes for free each weekday. And as always, if you want to read more about any of the news stories we talked about in this episode, I try to make it easy for you. Just check out today's show notes at thenewsworthy.com. From the homepage, click episodes, and then look for today's date. The Newsworthy is ready for you to listen every weekday by 4 in the morning, so I'll be back with more news tomorrow. Have a great day.